Welcome back to another episode of the 2000 ELO speedrun. In today's video, we'll be going from 1000 to 1200 ELO. We'll be looking at two of the best games per 100 ELO gap. If you would like to see all of my games, you can go see the highlights over on my TikTok, which will be posted over the next week. Or you can check out my Patreon page where the games are currently uploaded in full. But remember, this is no ordinary speedrun. Each time you think a game has reached a critical point, pause the video. Calculate the game yourself. When you're ready, unpause and see if our calculations match up. This is the best way for you to improve at chess and make the most out of this video. By the way, thank you all for 25,000 subscribers on this channel. It's an unbelievable milestone and one I did not expect to reach as soon as I did. We'll touch on that more at the end of the video, but in the meantime, here is game number one. Okay, let's jump into the next game. We have the white pieces. Okay, I'm going to play e4 in the hopes that somebody plays a Sicilian against me, because we played the Sicilian as black, but we haven't played against the Sicilian yet. And there we go. We have c5, and I'm going to play the line that I like to play against the Sicilian, because I think it's very aggressive, and it's the Grand Prix. So we're going to play knight c3. Obviously, this is not the Grand Prix yet, but the Grand Prix is playing f4. f4 and throwing these pawns forward. Eventually the knight ends up here. You trade off this light square bishop. I'm not very good at it because I don't play e4 too often. But I'll do my best, you know. I think you're supposed to snap off this knight as soon as possible, basically, because this bishop just doesn't really ever have a home in the Sicilian. Again, I could be completely wrong in saying that. Okay, queen c7 here. This knight cannot move, so I don't need to snap it off just yet. He is threatening d5 and hitting this pawn, so I kind of just want to defend it. With d3 opening up the bishop, we needed to play that move at some point anyway. If knight f6, this is threatened. Okay, he plays e5, attacking my center straight away. But if you take this, I'm actually okay with it, because I want a castle, and you're going to open up my rook by opening that file for me. So I think knight f3 is just a completely okay move here. I've also got this move, which maybe I should consider. I mean, I don't have it if you play knight here. But I'm thinking of playing knight d5, but then... Oh, you can't play knight b6, because my knight also defends that square. But knight b5, you can play something like check. But if I take first, you're probably going to take with the pawn, and knight d5 will never be possible. So I think this whole knight d5 idea just can't work, unfortunately. Oh, it does work. Oh, that's really clever, actually. Knight d5, queen a5 check, bishop d2. You can't take because knight c7, royal fork. Wow. Okay, so that can work. And in the meantime, I'm going to develop my bishop, connect my rook with my queen, and I can still take here at any point. Wow. What a move. Okay, let's go for it. I mean, when you find a move like that in any position, you have to play it. Knight d5. This isn't a trap, by the way, because there is no negative outcome of this. It is a trap to make you fall into my tactic, but there is no bad consequence for me here. Bishop d7, or bishop d2, sorry. That's not a free bishop. Oh no, my bishop. And knight c7 check would win the queen. So this you cannot capture, and he has to move the queen back. There we go. And now we can continue with something like knight f3 maybe. Knight f3, there is a6, takes, pawn takes. Don't love this. I could also take immediately. I like taking immediately, actually. Taking immediately, and then when you take back knight f3, I don't love bishop g4, but I suppose I'll just kick it, and if you take, you're just opening up lines for me. We're going to play f takes e. You can't take with the knight, you're pinned. If you move your knight here, I mean, you're just going to put things in the line of sight of my rook. So let's play knight f3 now. Attempting to take, you can pin me back. He doesn't. Very interesting move, knight f6. Can I play knight takes e5? If you take, I take with tempo. If you take, I take, and I don't pick up the rook. I want to pick up the knight in the center of the board. So here, oh, knight takes check. But do I have g3? I think I have g3 in that position. Wow, that's really tricky. Let's play knight takes e5. Knight takes bishop here. I've just got takes. That's an interesting move. Bishop d6. If I take, you can't check anymore because your knight never moved. So let's play knight takes knight, and I think we're just going to win the exchange here. Obviously, takes, he's going to play bishop d7, so he can recapture the bishop with his queen. The light squares don't seem like an importance in this game, if I'm being completely honest, because we've got this light square pawn structure, our rook is going to be open, and we've got this strong dark squares to use our dark squared bishop on. He's going to block there, we're going to take his rook, and now we can play castles, and immediately we might even be considering rook takes. Maybe I should have played knight takes. Maybe that was a little bit lazy from me. He's played that, okay. Let's take back. Yeah, I should have definitely played knight takes immediately. I don't know why I didn't. Let's immediately just start by putting our bishop onto a very active diagonal. It was pretty active here, but this one is just much better. It comes with threats. If you want to block this, I'm just going to take. You cannot take back because of this pin. Immediately, he's going for checkmate. Okay. I could go queen e2 check, but I run the risk of queen e6, which I don't love. Queen g4, I'm defending. Let's play queen g4 here, activating our queen a little bit more. We're also threatening queen c8. We're threatening queen takes g7. We're threatening rook a e1 check. I think this might be the best move though. It might just lead to checkmate. Queen b8, king e7 only move, rook e1. That blocks here. Then I could check again. You would be pinned, not be able to take my queen. And then I could take the bishop. I know that I could take the rook, but then I would lose to checkmate. This checkmate is always going to exist. I've tied my queen to this. So everything either needs to come with a check, or I need to eventually boomerang back around and defend this big threat that black has. The only threat that black has, by the way. If you castle, I checkmate, by the way. Castling is not an option. Can't castle this way, of course. And plays bishop back to there. If I play queen c8 now, he's got blocks. And then if I play rook a e1 check, you've got bishop here, but then I take. So I'm gonna play this, and I think we're just completely winning. Somehow these 1000s have felt a lot easier to verse than the 900s we versed last episode. I'm sure that's something people are noticing right now. I'm having a lot of an easier time against these 1000s. We'll play rook a e1 check. Rook a e1 check, actually, there's just this. I could go check. This is also possible. Check if he goes here. I also just have this dark square bishop that maybe could come in handy at some point. I could play rook takes f7 check. I'm thinking rook a e1 must be right. Then here and check, and you're forced to give up the queen. Kind of looking for a better checkmate though. Queen check, king up, check, you lose. Queen check, bishop here, check, you lose. Queen check, queen up, check. Surely just loses, right? I think queen c7 is the most harsh option for us, where we get the maximum profits. Although rook a e1 was probably also fine, I think we're just winning the queen for less here, not compromising our entire attack. He's gone king down, which I think is probably the worst move you could have played. Check here, he's got this. Again, I'm not a fan of this, so let's check first. Has to block with the queen. If he blocks here, it's going to be checkmate. If he blocks here, I could play queen takes c6 and not even take the queen yet. If he blocks here, where else could I? Okay, he's resigned. We'll see what the fastest route to checkmate was. It was made in 3, apparently. Let's have a look. A very nice game. 93% accuracy, we'll see from top to bottom. E4 Sicilian, and we played the Grand Prix. Bishop b5, there we go, theory. Knight f3 is a little bit better. Apparently this threat isn't as... Oh, I just take with the knight, and I attack the queen and defend the pawn. Okay, that makes sense. That's why that's wrong. E5 is a mistake because of knight d5. Wow. And this check doesn't work because of the bishop gaining tempo. If you take, I fork. We'll look at that just in a second. Here, bishop d2. If you take, I check, and I pick up everything. So that is not a free piece. Bishop d2. Instead, he went all the way back to queen d8. That is the best move in the position. We took first instead of playing knight f3. Then we played knight f3. We took on e5. That is the best move. Let me just see. If knight takes d5, we have this. If check, we have g3, which is winning. Now you've got 2 pieces under attack. Queen f6 is the best move there. Actually, you've got 3 pieces under attack. Apparently, e takes d5 is just the best move here. And if you take back, I'm still going to check here because I'm defended by the pawn I just captured with. A very nice line there, so I was correct that was winning. Instead, he played bishop d6, which is an inaccuracy because I just take, and then I take the rook. I should have taken here. Don't know why I didn't. I just castled. A poor oversight there. I kind of just rushed things. He takes, I take. I get my bishop onto a better diagonal. He starts to threaten things, but I play queen g4, the best move. Bishop f8, definitely not a great move. I played queen c8 check. It's a great move. Mate at 9 from this position. King e7, queen c7 check is best. King down, check. And the fastest way to mate after queen e4, is queen takes c6, which we looked at. If the king goes back, this is the fastest route. You still get the queen for free. And this is completely winning. A very nice game. We've had 2 great games in a row. Hopefully both of those will make the video. And we'll jump into the next game. Okay, let's jump into this next game. Let's play some d4. And let's play some Queen's Gambit. We played a couple games of Queen's Gambit in last episode. He's not taking. So let's continue to develop our pieces. When they don't take the pawn, when they don't accept the gambit, you just continue to develop. We're going to bring some more pieces out. Let's bring the bishop. And now let's play e3. We've got a very solid setup here. We can play rook c1. There is knight e4 in this position. We're going to play bishop d3, looking over here. If he takes, I was wondering, do we even have to take back? Can we drop all the way back? I feel like it's very hopeful, and it relies on a big attack. So let's drop back here. He's going to try and trade. He's going to lose tempo though. Bishop a3, and he's losing tempo on the pawn that is available on the b7 square. And now this might be beautiful, because I'm not sure if we have it, but do we have a Greek gift? If we have a Greek gift, this is definitely making it into the episode, because I don't think we'll get another chance to show a Greek gift. But bishop takes h7, king takes, knight g5 check, forcing his king to g6. To which maybe then we could play queen d3 check, king f5, and at least knight h7 check. If the king continues to go on, we could check. Oh, it's gotta be good. There is no way this is not good. We should calculate it. We've got 8 minutes, 30 seconds to calculate. So let's just calculate it fully. Check, king takes, check, king up, check. There is blocks. So maybe queen d3 check doesn't work. Okay, check here, check, king here, queen g4, e5, knight e6 check, king f6, bishop g5 check, and we win the queen. Okay, I'm happy with that. We are winning the queen in that line. So we can go with bishop takes h7. Of course, he can refuse this sacrifice. But I am pretty sure that we're winning the queen in the line that I highlighted with queen g4. And the issue with going back is that I have queen h5. And this is going to get you checkmated. We'll look at every line of that Greek gift sacrifice. He does have to take with his queen now. There is no other option. And we get checkmate here. Good game. Now let's look back, because there were more complicated lines. I'm completely fine with that. We played 97% accuracy in this game, which shows that maybe my sacrifice was correct. We played Queen's Gambit, knight c3, you bring the other knights, bishop f4, play e3, we play bishop d3, takes, comes back, get the tempo, and now we have bishop takes h7. If you take, I check. Now, if you come back, I play this, and you have to give up the queen. The best move is queen takes g5, and it's +3 for white. But if you come back, I play queen g4. Well, first of all, let's look at queen d3. I don't think this worked because of f5, and I was correct. f5 wouldn't have worked. However, if it did work, I would just have queen h7 apparently. Is very strong. Not exactly sure why. I guess now you're threatening check. If you come down, there's got to be some checkmates with h4. So let's say here, I'm threatening queen knight e4 check. Oh, king e7, bishop g5 check, king e8, and then you just win the queen. If they block, you're going to check here. Rook f7, knight takes f6 check here, g8 here, and this is just going to get very bad. Queen g6, and you get out of everything and you win the queen. Okay, so you win the queen in that line, but queen e3 is not what we went for. We went for queen g4. This is what we thought would be played. If e5 here, what did I think we were going to play? I thought knight e6, check. Oh, this is checkmate. I thought I was just winning a queen. Okay, apparently queen g5 is the best way to go, but if you go here, queen g5, king here, and checkmate. Bang. So I assumed that we would just get this, king g6, and win the queen. Obviously, there is mate to come, and I probably would have realized that. But that's a very nice line. Apparently, the best move here is to play queen g5, check, king up, and queen takes g7 checkmate is the slowest way that black can get checkmated, but everything is winning. And a beautiful Greek gift sacrifice in that game. Hopefully that makes it into the video. But yeah, let's get into the next game. Okay, we have the black pieces in this game. He's playing e4. Let's play the Scandinavian again. If he takes, we take. And if he comes in with his knight, we drop all the way back to d8. And we're okay with this. Back to d8. Lost a little bit of a tempo, but that is just what you do in the Scandinavian. It works out fine in the end. We want to bring our knights out. This is a bad move because I can just play c6, kicking your bishop back. You don't want to check if you can be kicked by a pawn. That also helps the opposition. He's looking at this square right now, which I don't love because I don't love something like queen here. So if we can stop this threat in one developing move that is going to be useful for us anyway, we should do it with knight f6. Now, queen f6 is never possible. And he goes for it. We could just play something like this. Bishop g4, getting some tempo. Developing a piece whilst hitting the queen. This is why you shouldn't bring your queen out early, because it helps your opponent develop. Now if they play queen g3, we're going to play e6. We're preparing to hit this. e6 here is going to be very nice. Preparing this, although, oh no, the bishop isn't out yet, so bishop d6 is a big threat. We're not trapping the queen by any means, but we are developing a lot of pieces in a row. I'm thinking something like, wow, okay. A very interesting move. Can I just play knight d7? Developing another piece whilst your knight is on the back, not the back rank, but the home square. And if you take, I'm going to take, and suddenly I have a lot of pieces to your not a lot of pieces. I'm thinking knight takes. If you take, I'm going to play knight f6. You cannot take. So let's go with knight takes here. If you take this way, I'm also going to play knight f6, developing all of my pieces. And I have 2 pieces developed to your 1. My bishop is also ready to be active. Yours is not. It cannot move. Let's see what white comes up with here. He's taking our knight. We're going to develop another knight whilst defending the bishop. And it doesn't matter that this is under attack because the queen is under attack. This is danger levels. Okay. And now we can continue to develop more pieces. I don't care that this is under attack. I'm hitting your queen. This is much more important. And then we probably will just play bishop h5 once he does move his queen. That is an interesting move, actually. Because we could leave the bishop hanging again with h6, sacrificing a pawn, and playing rook g8, getting more pieces active. And he doesn't want it. Okay. I think we're done sacrificing the bishop for now. It's been hanging for long enough. We should give it a break, maybe, and play bishop f5, unless there's another way to give tempo to the queen. I mouse slipped, but luckily it was the correct mouse slip. And now we've got all of these pieces developed. You've got a bishop developed, a knight back here, and a bishop that you still have to open up. You've also got a queen in the middle of everything. Let's just castle. Why not castle? I want to play knight d5, tempo on the bishop again. And funnily enough, if you take and I take, there's tempo on the queen again, because rook e8 is a threat. So let's play knight e5, tempo on the queen. And this is what happens when you bring your queen out early. The queen will get kicked around, and look at all of my development and look at my opponent's development. And let's also remember that I've moved my queen twice in this opening already, because the Scandinavian, you drop back. And I am still up development because of how my opponent has chosen to develop their queen. So he's dropped back with his queen, but the issue with this is this bishop is still very sad. I don't think it's enjoying itself right now. We could play bishop f4, but then we kind of put you to a desirable square. So let's play rook e8. I think this is a smart move to be making. Although I actually do like queen f5, because the most natural move for you is the castle, which blunders bishop takes h3, pawn takes, and queen takes f3. So I'm gonna go ahead and play queen f6 and develop my queen now, because it's one of the only pieces that isn't developed. If you take, I'm going to take, and you've opened up my files very nicely. You can never castle whilst your knight is here, and your knight can't really retreat anywhere except to some weird squares. If it goes to here or here, I'll capture it both with my queen. If you want to defend it with your queen, you have to step back on this file that your king is on. And maybe I'll just sacrifice it anyway. I mean, maybe I've got some knight f4s at some point, so on and so forth. Rook e8 is always a move for us, but let's see what our opponent does. And he's played queen e2. Very interesting. We do have bishop here. If takes, we take. If takes, I do like rook fe8. I also think that g5 should be considered. g5, castles, g4. takes. I think it's the best move, actually, g5. Your bishop can never get developed. And g5, you might actually have to play bishop d2 and castle. Otherwise, things might get very bad for you. At any point, you could snap this off, by the way, now, because rook e8 is met with bishop e3, but no, then I would play d4, and I think he's going for it. I think he's going for this idea. So what I want to do is play b5. Tease you into taking and opening up a file on where I think you will castle. He might not castle there still. He might castle short. You never know, but I don't think he's going to have much of an attack on me. I could also take this at any stage, but then I think short castles will come. Let's play a5, push up the board. We're not threatening to trap him at all, but we are just pushing pawns up the board. b4, I think, would be met with this. b4, bishop takes, pawn takes. No, b4, bishop takes, pawn takes. We're threatening rook e8 as well. So if he takes rook e8, and if he castles, then we take. Okay, so b4 seems correct. And now I think you have to castle into here, which I also still think is bad, by the way. I think that castling into this is bad. Now we play e takes, threatening rook e8. And if you castle either which way, I'm going to take the pawn, of course, but now I have rook e8. You do not have bishop e3, or at least you don't have it for long. I might not be able to immediately punish it, but I definitely am going to have something soon. Okay, so I can check here first, which I like. I can't play this immediately, by the way, because knight takes, and then if I take, now you can take, because it's not an absolute pin. Absolute pins is where the piece cannot move because it's pinned to a king, but anything else is not an absolute pin. Can I check? Here, check. Wow. Bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes. If the bishop blocks, I'm going to take. If the queen blocks, I'm going to take. I can sacrifice my bishop here and I'm going to win the rook in the corner. And everything is falling apart for white here. We have made it impossible for you to castle anyway because you wasted so many moves in the opening. And that is what has won us the game, simply. If you're wondering, oh, this doesn't normally happen in my games, why is it happening in his games? It's because my opponent let me, and I knew how to punish it. If you are able to identify things like this, where your opponent is allowing you to make free developing moves, you will end up in situations like this. And takes king here. I kind of like this pin. Can I take here? I don't think I can. Maybe I just settle for takes, and push, and just make another queen. My a pawn is so far advanced. It's 2 squares away from promoting. Knight b3. We have rook b8. Let's play knight b8. Rook b8, sorry. No very, very quick way to win this game. If he does play knight b8, we have bishop takes d3 check. If you take, I win this. And I'm going to play rook b1 to promote this pawn. And the game should come to a close. Not sure if I chose to close out this game in the best way possible, but I think it was fine. I'm thinking rook b5 here to play maybe rook. No, rook b5 seems best. Threatening to play c5. Push some other pawns off the board again. Knight b3 is met with check. We can drop back here. No rush. We don't need to force our moves onto the board. We are definitely winning here. Winning materially, at least. Up the exchange and the pawn. And the pawns, 2 pawns. And we did predict this move would come, but now we can check. Winning another pawn. Here, takes. You could play king c3, but then maybe something like bishop c4 is to come. Well, king c3, actually, maybe you do just are forced to take the bishop because of rook a3. So let's play that. We're pinning. There is no way to defend this knight anymore. You will have to take. There's just nothing here for white. It's just all too forcing. We can check. I kind of like just dropping back and going for the same plan that we had before of c5. Trying to get this bishop out of the game. Maybe c5, he'll play this. But then I can just drop all the way back to a8. And then these pawns become the problem for white. Actually, c5 here, maybe we have this. Okay, play c5. Bishop b2, we have this. And you cannot defend this at all. Now I can take, sacrifice the exchange because I have rook b1 threatening to promote. And that is game over. That is the winning sequence in the end that we needed. And we'll easily convert this game. From this point, there is nothing to think about. Everything wins unless you blunder your queen. And my opponent resigns. Good game. Okay, so let's look at the review here. We played the Scandinavian. takes, and the queen comes back to d8. I knew this was theory. I've seen this before. c6 is the best move, kicking the bishop away. The queen comes out. We get tempo. e6, we're threatening to gain more tempo. Knight comes out. Knight b d7 is fine. Here, apparently taking here was very good. Okay, taking with the h pawn and opening up the file, and you don't lose tempo. Interesting. Instead, you took the knight, and I played knight f6, queen there. I played bishop d6, getting more tempo. Queen g5, I played h6, the best move, sacrificing this because you are going to play rook h7 or rook g8. Rook h7 makes it very difficult for you to get out. You are just trapped, in fact, so you can't play this. And rook g8, queen would have to take on h6, and now you've kind of just got a roaring attack ready to go. All of white's pieces are coming loose, so he chooses to run away. I think he went to queen e3. We went bishop f5, attacking this and recovering our bishop from danger. d3 was a good move. Castles. Knight d5, you can't take, has to get off the line. Queen f6 I thought was a good move. Queen e2 back, just a waste of a move. g5 I thought was a very nice move. Engine doesn't think so, but practically speaking, I think it makes a lot of sense. Bishop d2, b5, we're threatening to force this bishop to trade off here. We take, now b4, apparently not the greatest. He could have played bishop takes. How does this work? Bishop takes here, and queen a1 check, okay. There you go. So you can't take back, but here, bishop takes b2. Okay, so I missed that tactic, a very interesting one. Instead, I played b4. He took, I took back. He took rook e8. And this is very difficult to defend. Did I take in the best way? I played bishop takes b4, which is a good move. And now this is a brilliant move. You're winning the exchange. And you kind of forget about this threat because we found a greater one, which is winning the exchange. We weren't really sure if we were ever going to win the piece on this file, but we are definitely going to win the exchange in this case. We push the pawn. I probably should have taken this loose pawn before pushing. There was just nothing stopping me from playing bishop takes d3, but I wanted to get the pawn pushing fast, and I knew it was impossible for him to make progress otherwise, and the game got very easy from here on out, and we won at this point. A very nice game. Yeah, a very good lesson in gaining tempo in the opening, why you shouldn't bring your queen out. But let's get into the next one. Okay, let's jump into the next game. We have the black pieces, and let's play c6. Hopefully we get some variation of the Caro-Kann that we haven't had yet. We're going into this exchange variation, which we have had a lot, but still going to be interesting to play nonetheless. He's attacking my pawn, but I am defending it. He's also lining up this, but I'm not too worried about it, so let's just develop our bishop. He's prepared to Thankyou, so I'm going to develop my knight. And I'm thinking a h5 kind of attack will be on the cards. We want to play bishop d6. Oftentimes when I play bishop d6, I don't really like the move knight b5, so I'm going to play a6 first. He's attacking my knight, pinning it to my queen, so I'm just going to kick him. If he goes back, I'm going to trap his bishop with g5, and his bishop is now trapped. And that is the game over, essentially. You have to be very careful when you Thankyou your bishop because your pawn doesn't allow you to go back to g3. So he's going to have to trade off here. He's just allowing me to take this for free, which is the wrong move also. You probably should have sacrificed for the 2 pawns. But now he's going for this kind of idea, but I'm just going to take his pawn there. I'm going to take the knights. I'm going to play bishop d6. And now I've got an attack on your h2 square. I've got knight g5 arriving. I've got queen takes h4 arriving. This game will end very shortly. And yeah, he definitely shouldn't have taken back, by the way. He definitely should have just let me take his pawn, which is a big mistake people make, especially if, say h5 was on the board instead of this, and his bishop never moved there. Say h5, h4 was on the board, you never take. You never take this and compromise your pawn structure like this. You always let me take. So I'm going to go knight up now, just immediately threatening this. He's playing knight g3, but I can play queen takes, and I'm immediately threatening checkmate. But now he does have a cheeky little h3. But I'm sure there's got to be a way that we can make something of this. So we can immediately take. If pawn takes, takes, and I don't think that's actually winning. So what about something like knight takes? If rook takes, we take with the queen, and you're looking a little bit worse for wear there. I think knight takes f2 is the best move here, removing the defender of the g3 knight. We also have some rook g8 ideas at some point, so getting this knight off of this file and allowing the rook to be closer to the action feels like a good move. He's taken our bishop, but we can take you first. If takes, this is not something I want, because I'm just not, I'm not better here, to be honest. So I like taking here. If takes, oh, there's a lot of decent moves actually. Check here, check should be considered. Knight takes here, there should be this considered. Knight takes, bishop takes, rook g8 check, bishop back, rook takes, king takes, check, king here, check, king up. I'm gonna play knight takes h3. I'm not exactly sure what the line is, but I'm pretty sure there are some kind of rook sacrifices that we can look at some stage. So he's taken there. Immediately I could play queen takes, and after, oh, knight takes here, you've got rook check, which I really don't like. Although, is it that bad? Queen takes, check here, rook check, king takes d6, and where is the continuation for you? That might be an option. But let's look at rook g8 first. Rook g8. It's rook g8, bishop back, bishop check. Is that correct? King here. No, because my queen is still under attack. Rook here, bishop check, king here. No, it doesn't quite work. Rook check here, takes. Damn, this knight is always a big pest. Rook g8, bishop here. I've got check here, then maybe just rook takes. If here, I've got check, which is checkmate, so you can't go there. If here, surely I'm just laddering you down the board. Okay, I think that's the line. I think it's rook g8 check. If you block, I play queen h2 check here, and rook takes g2 is going to be checkmate. Okay, that was more simple than I originally anticipated it to be. Of course, he can try some king h1 if he really wants to. I mean, he can also try bishop g4. Bishop g4, I just go here, actually. Queen here, I'm going to take. And now I'm just going to checkmate. There we go. Good game. We'll look at the mate really quickly in the game review that I was looking for. We'll look at the whole game, actually. Have a quick look. See how well we played that game. 95% accuracy. We played the Caro-Kann exchange. The knight comes out. The bishop comes out. This is all good. Playing a3 here to stop this knight from jumping in on our bishop on d6. Bishop there. We drop it back. This bishop is now trapped. G5. You should... well, apparently danger levels is the right way to go. Oh, danger levels and you get your bishop out like this. Okay, that's very clever. Very clever defense from the computer there. But instead you played knight here. I took, you took, I took back here. Bishop d6 is the best move. Knight out, knight g4. Apparently you can sacrifice the bishop even because of this. If king g3, what do we play here? Rook g8, and this gets very bad even though we've sacrificed the piece. Okay. But I played this immediately. Played knight g3, I took, h3. Knight takes f2 is the best move. This is an interesting intermezzo, but you do have knight takes h3. Check, he has to respond. Bishop takes, rook g8 check, only move to continue. This back actually still leads to not checkmate apparently. Queen h2 check, king here. I thought rook takes. Obviously, if you go back here, this is going to be checkmate. So he can't go back, he has to come forward on e3. And where is the continuation? We don't quite have one. Apparently best move is just to take. But if you do go to here, there is going to be checkmate, of course. We looked at this line where we just immediately get checkmate. But apparently if king e3, you survive for a little while, but we do take your knight. And then we're not actually up any material, we're up pawns. Oh no, we are up. No, we're up a full piece actually, my mistake. We're up this full piece, and your king is in the center of the board. Of course, this is completely losing, but not quite a mate. Apparently, king d3 here, and you're getting away. You're just running to the other side of the board, but this is unplayable. But a very good game, nonetheless. And let's get into the next one. Okay, let's jump into a new game. We've got an 1150 rated player. We've got the white pieces as well. What haven't we played recently? We haven't played c4 too much with the white pieces, so we'll start with some English, and let's go with knight c3. Really have no idea about any of the ideas you're supposed to be playing in the English, but I'm gonna play it kind of like a Sicilian. This is the reverse Sicilian variation, where I want to get my bishop onto this diagonal. Is he gonna play g5? Surely not. Okay, no, he's not. I can consider something like e3 and say knight out. I can play d5, or d4 takes. I like e3 quite a lot. I know I'm blocking this bishop in a little bit, but hopefully it's going to come back out. His knight is going to struggle to develop a little bit because he's played the move c6. Maybe he wants to come with d5, but then I come with d4 straight away. So let's go with d4. We'll take. We are opening up this lane for our king to be checked on, but we always had knight e2. We could play c5. I could also just play knight f3. Knight f3, threatening this, but knight f3, there is e4, but then I have knight d2, and this is just undefendable, actually. So knight f3 makes a lot of sense. I don't think e4 is possible. I think that e takes d is the best move here. Takes, if you check, I've got bishop e3. So e4, I think, just loses a pawn here. He's looking to get some tactics on my king, but if I just castle, I mean, I'm completely fine. If you push now, I'm going to come back like this, and still you can't hang on to that pawn. I've got 3 attackers compared to your 2 defenders. So we'll go back here. 3 pieces attacking the pawn, and there's just simply no way to defend. Maybe you can try and counterattack, but in that case, I'll just take with this knight. Takes here, and I'm still defending. And black has already lost the pawn in this opening. I'm very much convinced that I've not played this correctly, by the way. This is definitely not how you play the English. I'm pretty sure I just needed to get the bishop out earlier, and it would have been fine, but yeah, I'm happy with this. This is a half decent try. You're trying to remove one of the defenders, but the issue is that I can so here, I can take with check. That's the issue. So let's take. If you take here, I take with check, which is the important part. And now we want to take with the knight and not the bishop. Now we can start to kick this bishop away as well. He might try and strike in the center. Let's play a4, and we're gonna kick him all the way back to one of these squares. And now we're up a pawn. First thing that I notice is that this knight, although it's quite active in the position, it doesn't have many squares to go to. Second thing I notice, and maybe the first thing that some of you guys noticed, will be that the bishop is kind of not on great squares right now, but bishop b2 does kind of solve my problems a little bit. Hopefully activating. But bishop b2, there is d5 that I'm slightly worried about. Bishop b3, or bishop b2, sorry, d5, takes, knight back, and we're kind of in a similar situation where I've got 2 attackers on this pawn. So I don't think that d5 is actually viable because you'll just lose another pawn. So my idea is that I'm gonna play d5 myself at some point, open up this bishop, and have some great attacking potential. Obviously d5 does shut down this bishop, but I'm not entirely convinced that this bishop needs to see too many squares on this diagonal, and we're going to take here, and knight back. And you can see we've got 2 pieces attacking with 0 defending, and we can play queen b3 at any point. This does shut down our bishop, but going a second pawn up is just very good. I don't want to get rid of my light square bishops, so I am going to take with my knight here. If you take back, you're going to have to play knight here. But then I play rook c1, threatening rook takes knight, pawn takes and check. And I'm just winning a pawn there. Obviously, I would pick up the rook after. And he's allowing me to take this pawn, which is quite interesting. Attacking the rook, but this is not a poison pawn because my pawns are adequately defended. d5 at any point opens up the bishop, by the way. I could consider taking. Rook c1 always an option too. I don't think you want to move your knight again. There's not really a million great squares for it to go to. If it goes here, I kick, and then you're forced to trade it off. And if you go here, you're kind of just wasting time. So let's take here. I don't think that this bishop is amazing in the position. I think it's an okay bishop. He's taking with the queen, and I'm immediately going to go queen c2, attacking this bishop. So now we've got opposite colored bishops, which is something to look out for in the endgame. But now we've just got bishops because you've blundered your bishop. And now there is no opposite colored bishops, it's just my bishop. And that should be the end of this game. A very, very dominating position, winning a couple pawns out of the opening, and then this blunder here. It's very typical of players that blunder pawns in the opening to continue to try and press and play fast, and then they end up making poor mistakes. We could go back, but I also just like taking this free pawn. Maybe coming back on d4. If rook c3, we are actually going to force the queen trade. Let's play rook c1 though. Activating our rooks. Queen b2 may be possible. Yeah, queen b2 now I'm not a massive fan of, but he doesn't play it. We could actually have just gone back to f1. I'm gonna play queen c5, attacking the rook here. We're also threatening bishop e4 check at any stage. Maybe we're threatening d6 and check here at any stage also. Potentially pushing a passed pawn. And I think this game is just too far gone for my opponent to be continuing playing here. There's just, I mean, unless I blunder my queen in one move, I don't think there's any hope in this position. The rook comes over, attacking this. I'm just going to push and threaten this. If you take this, it actually might be catastrophic because of check, back, and shack, but you can offer the queen trade right now. But then I go here, and then the pawn will push. You've actually only got this move. But then I'm just going to play bishop here. So let's play d7. If you can't go up here because I take with my bishop, I push here, and then everything else is pushing off the board. You can't stop everything at once. I'm gonna pre-move some pawn moves because, I mean, everything is winning here. You just push everything, and the attack is unstoppable. Good game. Let's have a quick look at the analysis. 88% accuracy. We'll see what the opening was like. We played the English. This is correct. G3 is not correct though. Bishop G2 is fine. Pushing for the center is good. Knight F3. Apparently we should have taken here. But I castled, knight back, and you're going to lose this pawn. Takes, takes, takes. A3, B4, very good, gaining some tempo. Bishop B2, we know this is going to open. This is a mistake, it just gives up another pawn. Knight takes, bishop takes, taking another pawn there. Pushing the pawn up, taking, looking at this bishop, another blunder there. Taking the free bishop, and then the game was very straightforward from this moment onwards. Coming back, d6, we're getting ready to take. Trading, pushing, bishop up, and pushing the final pawn. And that game concludes episode 2 of this speedrun. I hope you guys found the games instructive and were able to learn something from them. Again, thank you all so much for 25,000 subscribers. Hopefully, I'll be putting out a lot more content over the next few days to thank you guys properly. As always, if you have any suggestions that you would like to see on this channel, feel free to let me know in the comments. And if you were curious about any of the tactics or the concepts I explained in this video, feel free to leave a comment. I try to respond to all of my comments on these videos. I'll be happy to drop a reply. And thank you all for watching the second episode of this series, and I'll see you all in the next video.